Alright, so I have over here, I just set up the basic layout of a coordinate pairs kind of chart here. Alright, and I even marked a little bit more familiar to you, okay? Instead of just saying X, I also said the word input. And then I also over here said the word output, okay? Now what we need to do first is identify our function rule, okay? Well, if my output is Y, my function rule is going to be whatever is on this side of the equation. So my function rule right here is just X plus 1. Oops. Plus 1. Remember, X representing, X is the same thing as our input. So whatever we put in to our function machine, we're going to add 1 to it, and it's going to give us our output. Okay? And as we mentioned before, it's tradition to just use nice, easy numbers. We're just looking for a slope of a line. Okay? So if I do 0 plus 1, I'm going to get an output of 1. If I do 1 plus 1, I'll get an output of 2. And if I do 2 plus 1, I'll get an output of 3. Now, as we've done before, we're going to go over here to the side and just write out our coordinate pairs. Remember, our input is X, and our output is Y. Alright, our final step is merely just to graph it. That's it. Alright, so let's see. We have 0, 1. So there's a point here. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm going to get a little circle. There you go. So there's a point here. And then we have 1, 2. Oops. Bummer, Miss Hayden seems to have made a mistake. Who can see what Miss Hayden did wrong? I'll give you guys a second. If you said I plotted this point wrong, you're correct. Okay, I did plot this point wrong. This first point, this 0, 1, does not belong here. Remember, 0 represents my first number. Represents how far left and right I go. Okay, I went to the right 1. I shouldn't have gone over at all. Okay, my second number is the one that tells me if I go up or down. So where my first point actually is right here. Okay, my first point is right here. Okay, I go over right and left 0, but I do go up 1. Okay, my second point belongs here. So I go over 1, up 2. And my third point, 2, 3, belongs over here. I go over 2, up 3. And now all I have to do at this point is connect my dots. Just like that game you used to play when you were younger. Just connect your dots. And that is my line. And I just graphed this equation. Okay? Now let's move on to the more complicated one. Alright? And just because it looks more complicated, it actually really isn't. So y equals 3x plus 2. So I'm just going to change this up. So y equals 3x plus 2. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to clear this out real quick. Alright, so all we're doing is exactly what we did before. The only difference is now when I put my number into my function machine, it just takes a second longer because I have one more step. Okay, so if I input 3 times 0 plus 2, my output is going to be 2. If I do 3 times 1 plus 2, remember when you have two numbers and right next to each other and one's in a set of parentheses, this is multiplication. We talked about how multiplication is that ninja operation. Okay, so 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, and then we have 3 times 2 plus 2. Okay, and this is going to give me a point of 8. So all I'm going to do is 0, 2, 1, 5, and 2, 8. So let's go ahead and graph our function. So my first point here is 0, 2. Remember, we're not going any left or right. My second number is 1, 5. And my third number is 2, 8. Now I know on this graph it does not actually exist, okay, but I'm going to put it just up here. Okay, you guys will actually have to draw out the real graph. Okay, I'll just make a little point. So this point right here is 6. Right here will be 7. Yeah, that makes sense. And then up one more would be 8. So that guy is at 8. Alright, so I'm just going to graph my line now. Just make sure it touches all 3 circles. And there you go. 3x plus 2 is now graphed. Okay? Now what I'd like you to do for the remainder of class is to go to page 598 and complete numbers 1 through 3, and then go to page 599 and to do numbers 1 through 6. Okay, I'm sorry, 1 through 5. 1 through 5. Alright, and I will post this. This is already written up on the chalkboard next to the screen. So go ahead and just look at that. Okay, if you guys have any more questions, I will be here tomorrow morning. Please, please come see me, okay? I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.